Go live. And we are live with another episode of Project Console, episode 36. This is a feature. Before we get into our topics, I'd like to introduce my panelists like to introduce himself.
Yeah, me, Mr. Red Fox, owner proprietor BS Busters, and I'm just glad to be on another one of these casts.
Yeah, glad
That's
to
it.
have you.
That's all I have to say.
Glad to have you. Go live. So the summer game show is happening right now, or happening. Well, summer game show. I don't know if that was like an introduction to the summer game show, or if that was the summer game show that happened on. What was it, last Thursday?
Yeah, the thing with Jeff Keighley, that was the summer game show.
Oh, okay.
Everything else after that is just people doing their own shows that they piggybacked off of Jeff Keighley's summer game thing.
Okay, so that happened. Was there anything the big summer game show that stood out to you at all, or?
The thing is that there was nothing in there that was really exciting or brand new or a surprise. I mean, even the stuff that they were like, "This is a surprise." I'm like, "Is it really though?
Yeah.
Like, is this really surprising?"
Yeah. There was that game called Witchfire, which is a first-person shooter, which has magic involved in it. And then there's this was it Callisto, which looks like Dead Space, which looks heavily inspired by Dead Space.
Well,
That
it's
looked
made
pretty
by the
cool.
same people who made Dead Space 1 and 2.
Oh, that's good. Let's see. And there was this Japanese game called Z. That looked pretty interesting, and not really a lot that stood out. I would say not necessarily a ton. Uh, I heard they had this thing showing in movie theaters, like summer game show. It's like who actually paid money to go into an IMAX to watch a game press conference? That's just
I
I
mean, I
don't
don't
know.
know who it would be, but I would think that you need to get a black marker, semi-permanent marker, and put on their head, "You're stupid."
Yeah, yeah. It's like, why would you pay? Like, going to IMAX isn't cheap. Uh,
I mean, the only way I would say that it's really valid is if you, like, it's really hot where you live, and you were just like, "Look, it's cool in the movie theater. It's only $10, and I get to waste 50 minutes." But it's not even like the summer game show wasn't even an hour, was it? Was it like 50 minutes?
probably, I think it's probably like an hour and a half or something like that. I
Okay,
don't know.
so I mean that's still like kind of expensive. I don't know,
And plus,
but what do I know? I'm just some guy.
and plus, I'm sure you get a lot of the talking, between people have to have these long expositions about their game. It's like, oh, this game is going to take you into a magical world, and it's going to be a magical experience like you've never seen before. And we have so many people working hard on this game. It's just kind of like, just shut up and show the gameplay already. That's one of the reasons I just quit watching a lot of the E3 stuff.
I mean, that's the problem with a lot of this is that you're not seeing a lot of gameplay. You're seeing like a trailer that's announcing the game, but no real gameplay.
Yeah, I mean it's been a problem for years now. I would say
Yeah,
I would say ever since the seventh gen at least. I don't know, maybe
yeah,
since
but it started getting good over the last few years. I mean, like you actually started companies not showing so much CGI
trade.
trailers and showing
Yeah,
actual gameplay.
yeah, yeah,
And then E3, said we're not having our thing, and so now there's no impetus for them to actually put real stuff on there anymore, which is just kind of stupid, really.
yeah. They say they're gonna try to have E3 next year again,
I hope they
but
do.
yeah,
I know some people are like, "Oh no, we need E3." Look, if Jeff Keighley's bullshit is a replacement for E3, oh god, I hope they bring back E3 next year because this is not really cutting it.
Yeah.
And yeah, I said that. I don't want anyone. Oh, don't say that. Come on, man. Y'all know this Jeff Keighley BS isn't cutting it.
Yeah. When does Shredder's Revenge come out? Or is it already out?
Thursday.
Thursday. Okay.
Yep, the 16th.
Yeah, that's a game I've been looking forward to as well.
I'm getting that on PC.
Yeah.
Looking forward to it.
Um. And then there was the Xbox game show. I don't know.
I
Did
watched
you?
the minutes. I didn't watch it. I just watched the minutes. I was like, oh, this is kind of cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
I thought it was pretty good. Not great, pretty good. Um, I wish they hadn't shown Starfield because that game's not coming out till next year. So why are you trying to hype people up about something that they can't play till next year?
It looks pretty rough too, in my honest opinion. Like the frame
Yeah,
rate
but it's a Bethesda game. It's not going to look much better once it launches.
and the
Just
character
tell you that,
models and
right? Well, they've been working on this game for 10 years, which means that as soon as Fallout 4 was came out and they stopped producing DLC for that, they were like, okay, we got to do this.
yeah,
Hmm.
I don't know. That's why I named the cast. It's a feature because the old uh the old saying is, when the old joke comes to
That's not
Bethesda
a
games.
flaw. That's a feature.
Yeah, it's not a bug, it's a feature. And
Yeah, well,
uh, prepare to see a lot of features in this game. 'Cause-
yeah. The problem with Bethesda is that Bethesda are shit programmers.
yeah.
Like Bethesda, like okay, if Bethesda has to make the way the creation engine is, and don't listen to them saying, "Oh, we have a new engine." Bullshit. The creation engine. They just have they're just using maybe better assets and maybe a little bit of code tweaking to add newer features from other shit to it, but it's still the same engine. Um, Bethesda's creation engine is really good for if you're creating a world, putting down assets, building shit. But when other shit has to run in that world, it just falls apart.
Yeah.
Every time, all the time. And Bethesda, despite making all that freaking money on Skyrim, re-releasing Skyrim all those damn times, instead of them taking that money and spending it to make a better an engine, like overhauling their engine to make it run better. They never did that. They were like, no, you know what we got to do? We got to just keep on re-releasing Skyrim.
Yeah, it's like it's the thing about Starfield is taking a lot of cues from No Man's Sky and
Fallout 4.
Fallout 4. And it's just kind of like, I guess so. I mean, think about, oh man, looking at some some of the gameplay now. It's just looks a little jank.
It looks like a last gen game.
Yeah,
And the reason it looks like a last gen game is because it is a last gen game because they've been working on this games they've been working on this games for 10 years. They started earnest development 5 years ago. All right?
yeah, yeah,
And everyone who's worked on this game said, "Look, the game is janky as fuck." I mean, you might have fun with it, but it's janky as fuck because
no,
Bethesda refuses to overhaul their fucking engine. So
I
you're
mean,
not going to be like, in order to make flying an airplane feel good, you need a physics engine that can make like rapid movement feel great. Problem is that the creation engine can't do that. It's the
yeah, I
reason
think,
why when you ride a horse in Skyrim or you get in a power suit in Fallout 4, it feels just really fucking janky and looks weird.
yeah, that camera, like then it moves around, how janky it it's like it's on an it's like the camera is like on some kind of old rig. Like
Yeah,
you could hear the creaks as it's turning.
or it's a really old camera that hasn't really been maintained and had upkeep. So it's like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah.
Like,
Um.
why does this look like that? And Bethesda, like Bethesda, this has been an issue since Fallout 3 and Oblivion.
Yeah, they really should have just held off on showing gameplay of this game. At
I
least,
mean,
come out with a better vertical slice. I mean, at
no,
least if you're gonna lie to us, at least make it look good. Come on,
they're
guys.
not going to do it. Like basically, I like some people are saying, well, the reason this is being held back is because they have to do some polishing. No, they're holding it back so that they can make it look better. But I don't think that's going to really fix the underlying flaws.
No, that's definitely not gonna fix the, making it look better isn't gonna, fix the camera from uh fix the bad camera, the janky camera, the janky physics, or the, I mean, I was listening to a video, and the guy said, I mean, at least the bullets go where you want them to go, unlike in Fallout, where they just kind of go wherever they feel like it.
Well, that was Fallout 76. But I mean, I don't think it's fair to compare 76's fucked up stuff to their other output because 76 was a different beast. But I mean, it's fair. It's a fair. Other than that, I would agree with everything else they said. Um, I mean, it looks janky. It looks kind of unfinished. It looks
Yeah,
unfinished. But and I
yeah,
don't think it's going to look much better because I guarantee you what Bethesda's was probably going to do. They're not going to actually hire people to help them overhaul the code to make it run more efficiently. What they're going to do is a whole bunch of dirty coding in the background that's going to make certain parts of the game run like shit and strip out features that are in it right now or gimp them so that they barely run or like strip down to the point where they shouldn't even be there. And then the game's going to come out, and the Bethesda fanboys will be like, "It's fucking amazing," and real people are going to be like, "This is stupid."
isn't I bet when this game comes out, there's going to be so much shit posting about how this game is utter trash. Oh, and those character models, they still look pretty bad too. Like,
Oh
their
yeah, oh
faces look
yeah,
chink. It's like,
yeah. Well, as long as
oh,
they're using the creation engine, it's not going to get better. Like Bethesda's character models have been shit since Oblivion.
yeah,
Before Oblivion, they used a different engine, so the models didn't look great, but they were old games. Now there's no excuse for games looking as bad as they do now, other than Bethesda just doesn't fucking care.
yeah. They've always
I
been
tend
known.
to go with Bethesda just doesn't fucking care.
Facial animations, and it's just kind of like, oh, Bethesda. This needs another couple years in the cooker.
Yeah, but if they
Please
do,
don't
like
bring it out next
behind,
year.
if they do, I guarantee that Todd Howard is going to get thrown into a volcano by Microsoft's head money people because they're
Yeah,
like, we spent $13 billion on you fuckers. Do
yeah,
something.
yeah. This game probably wasn't cheap to make either, especially for what
Well,
all they're trying to do.
it probably was cheap because you have to remember Bethesda uses their own engine. They aren't using someone else's engine. It's a shitty engine with what they've done with it. Like how they use it is not very well optimized for what they wanted to do, but it's their own engine. They don't have to pay out for it. Um, and you factor in that like they have a core team of people working on this, yeah, over a long period of time. Plus, they were doing other shit too. Like they worked on Fallout 76, which has probably at this point probably broken even because it uses a lot of the same assets from Fallout 4.
Yeah,
They've re-released Fallout 4 on current gen systems.
yeah,
Um, they've published a lot of games that have flopped. The new Wolfenstein that came out flopped.
Yeah.
Um, Fallout 76 flopped. Deathloop didn't do all that well.
Ugh.
So yeah, there's a reason Microsoft was able. Haven't you noticed that all the studios Microsoft bought were in financial dire straits when they bought them?
Yeah, I bet within the next couple of years, people will start to
Realize
start.
that Bethesda's full of shit.
Well, either that, I think you'll see some heads start receiving their golden parachutes. You'll
I mean,
start
Todd
seeing
Howard
Microsoft.
already has a golden parachute because I think he owns like 20% of Bethesda.
Yeah, so
So as soon as
they'll.
he cashes out, he's gonna make a lot of money.
Yeah, it's gonna see people leave and see people, see some decks be rearranged, and you might see some new heads pop up. Will things get better? Will things get worse? Who knows? Who knows? We're just gonna have to wait and see. Hopefully,
Personally, I hope that whatever Bethesda does, I hope that they have someone come in there and overhaul their engine so that you can do wonderful things with the creation engine, like be able to climb a ladder or
yeah,
ride a horse or use a vehicle and have the physics not feel like I'm playing with it. Remember when you were a kid and you would get maybe a vehicle for your action figures?
yeah,
That's how it feels like riding in a vehicle or riding a horse in a Bethesda game. It's like this just feels unrealistic.
yeah, yeah. It's. I'm seeing seeing Cyberpunk Part 2
No,
situation.
I'm going to give Cyberpunk credit, right? If you play Cyberpunk on PC and you get in a car or a bike, right? You go at high speed, it feels like you're going fast and you're in a vehicle. Play a Bethesda game, ride your horse,
Yeah.
get the speed up. You can run faster than your fucking horse can run
Wow.
on foot
Wow.
in a Bethesda game.
That's pretty bad. That's yeah. Well, what's the point of a horse?
Exactly. It's like in Legend of Zelda, Breath of the Wild, where it's like, why the fuck do I need a horse when I can just light a fire, jump over the fire, ride the thermal current created by the fire with my glider, and just glide wherever the fuck I want to go? Like, why the fuck? I don't see the point. Of, I don't see the point of having a horse. It's useless in this game,
Yeah.
except for like a few areas where you'll trigger like a little mini game where you have to hit some targets sequentially and get a Deku seed or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah,
But other than
exactly.
that, yeah, you know the shit needs to be overhauled. That's all I'm saying.
And it looks like, and if they have a poor physics engine, if they don't overhaul their physics engine, which they probably won't, then those dogfights are going to be
Shit, they're gonna
yeah.
be those dogfights will be dog shit. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's true.
exactly.
It's true, and that's why I'm saying that Bethesda, instead of basically what Bethesda really should have done between the release of Skyrim and Fallout 4, and making this game, was spend like a good year, 2 years overhauling their engine. Like, get some really good software engineers to go in and overhaul that fucking engine, to clean up the code, to make it run more efficiently, to have it have features. But that would have been expensive. But they were making so much money with re-releasing Skyrim. I'm like, I don't know how you didn't have the money to get someone to do this. And now they're with Microsoft. There's really no excuse. They don't even have to hire engineers to do that. Microsoft has engineers that all they do is clean and code software. That's all they fucking do.
Yeah.
So there's no excuse for the engine to be the way it is now. Especially after this game comes out. Let's say this game, it was too far along, kind of like how Final Fantasy VII looks like shit compared to 8 and 9, because
Yeah.
it originally was a DD game, an N64 DD game, and then they were like, oh shit, we're porting it over to the PS1. Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
They can't, they're not going to go back and just redo everything. Okay, fair. but at least Fallout, um, at least the game after this game, they need to overhaul their fucking engine, and not this. It's the creation engine too. No, you need to hire some people for like a year or 2 years to overhaul that fucking engine and make it have make the various, because the problem with the creation engine is that the core of the creation engine is solid. It's all the other shit on top of it that's just been jury rigged together to run. Like the Havoc engine was just the Havoc physics engine was just jury rigged to run in that engine.
The creation engine or the
Yeah, the creation engine. They
oh
took aspects of the Havoc physics engine and just pasted it on there and just barely got it to run. And that's why like if you're playing if you have mods in Skyrim or Oblivion or Fallout 4 that mess with the physics engine too much, it'll just spaz out because the
oh
engine was
no
already janky as fuck.
yeah it's just kind of weird because it's just kind of like because Nintendo used the Havoc engine for Breath of the Wild. I mean, I'm not saying the physics are perfect, but they work a lot.
They're better because there's not a lot of shit in messing with it. And plus,
yeah
Nintendo has better coding. Their code is cleaner.
yeah
Like Bethesda's code, like if you do a lot of Bethesda modding, which I don't do a lot of, like I don't create mods, but I use a lot of mods. You can go and get a thing that looks at, okay, are these good edits? Are these bad edits? Is this well put together or dirty mods? Which basically means that dirty plugins, which basically means someone just like did the bare minimum to get the code to run. They didn't actually optimize their code or properly put it in there. Like okay, it's one thing if you're a modder because you're not being paid to make the code run well. There are official plugins, content that is dirty. Like people who work at Bethesda have released a game like this. There are errors in Skyrim. There are game-breaking bugs in Skyrim that are in the standard edition, the special edition, which is the special edition that came out later on with all the DLC, and the legendary edition. They have not fixed game-breaking bugs in a 10-year-old game.
yeah
Multiple releases, never fixed it.
yep yep. And I bet there were programmers that are watching this presentation, and I bet they were cringing. It's like, oh, why did we show this now? We should have waited.
No,
Wasn't
all
ready.
I know is that Todd Howard is a hack and he needs to go away.
yeah.
It's about time for him to go the fuck away. I don't know where they're gonna go. I don't know who they're gonna get, but someone else needs to take over the reins of Bethesda, and it shouldn't be Todd Howard.
How
They need
how
someone who has a strong programming background to take over that studio
how
to get them
long
back on track.
how long has Todd Howard been at Bethesda?
He's been there since I want to say he worked in tech support for them. Not like I'm gonna help. Like there's something wrong with the code. Like the people who would call, like this quest is broken in the game, and they call the helpline, and he would help them like reinstall the game and shit. Since Daggerfall, and then he officially became like an actual like staff member, like permanent, like actual making decisions that influence the game on Oblivion.
Well, okay,
So he's been there for a while,
yeah.
but he wasn't the boss. Like he didn't become the boss. Todd Howard didn't become the head man until no, wait, no, sorry, Morrowind. Morrowind is the game that he helped out on, and then he became the boss in Oblivion. In Oblivion had a lot of good ideas, but the coding was so shit that it just it was gimpy as fuck. And then Skyrim, more casual, over casualized. And then Fallout 3, Fallout 4. You know,
Yeah.
here's what I'll say. I am not a fan of the Todd Howard era of Bethesda.
Yeah.
I think that Bethesda became overly casualized and started stripping out gameplay features in order to appeal to a more broad audience, which brought them a lot of money but made their games shittier.
Yeah.
You know, but that's my own personal opinion. To each his own.
So,
Diablo.
yeah, let's talk about Diablo 4 before we talk about the other thing. What did you think of that? I'll let you share your opinion first. What did you think of the Diablo 4 gameplay stuff?
I think okay. I'm of two minds. I had two thoughts about it. First of all, I think that the cinematic that they showed would actually look kind of cool, but the lore that they gave kind of retconned some shit from Diablo 1 and 2.
Yeah.
But it started in 3 because Diablo 3 basically says that the heroes who finally defeated Diablo's brother in Diablo 2, they weren't just normal people who fought like evil. They were like legendary ancient icons or archons or some shit. And I'm like, that's just that denigrates their sacrifice as just normal people doing extraordinary things.
Yeah.
Ordinary people doing extraordinary things. But I mean, whatever. And they're continuing it with this one, and it doesn't start with a sword and board class. Every other Diablo game had a sword and board class from the start. Like, I mean, Blizzard has been fucking up so much lately that it's kind of hard for me to
Yeah.
be all happy about what they're doing now.
I think for me, it's a wait and see sort of thing. It doesn't come out till next year. So, I mean, I think the open world stuff could be interesting. Like the fact that you're able to ride horses. Like there's a more in depth create um that there's a more um in depth character creation. Uh, I like the fact that they have like these light um raids that you can join people in. But gameplay wise, it looks interesting to me.
Yeah,
Will I pick it up day one? Probably not. I don't know. Just see what
yeah,
people are saying about it.
yeah. For Diablo, like if they fuck it up like they did Diablo 3, the beginning, where that game had that terrible cash shop, which
Yeah,
broke the game.
the real money.
Yeah, the real money cash shop, which
Yeah,
broke the game, and bad balance, and just kind of like, like the loot drops were kind of shit. I mean, it's
people were not happy with Diablo 3 at the beginning. I mean, they kind of fixed the problem at least near the end, but
yeah,
by then
but
everybody's moved
the
on.
people had moved on by that point.
Yeah,
Only the people who stayed with it, you know, it's not like Diablo 2. You can go back and play Diablo 2. That game holds up.
yeah,
You can play it and download mods for it, and it still holds up.
yeah,
Like Diablo 3 really doesn't hold up. You play it once and it's like, oh, this okay, this is fine.
yeah. You're right. I mean, I thought I was gonna be playing it, through multiple times with multiple classes, but I was just kind of like, nah.
Yeah, man. I mean, I hate to say that, but I mean that's because. But then again, let's be fair. Blizzard is not the Blizzard that exists right now. Is not the Blizzard that we had 20 years ago.
Yeah,
The Blizzard that we have right now is some. How can I put this nicely? It's some Activision up shit.
yeah.
So
I like how there's more verticality. Like the uh, the movement in the isometric view is more dynamic.
I mean
I
that's
think it
cool and
wasn't,
all.
but yeah,
I mean, like it's cool that they're adding more like new stuff, but if the core formula is kind of like tainted, which it is, then it's kind of hard for me to really be all excited when the core is being when the core of it is being kind of how can I put this, watered down,
Yeah.
changed, you know. Like it doesn't matter. Like it doesn't matter it's like if someone comes up to me and say, "Hey, I'm making your favorite pizza." Oh, really? Yeah, your favorite topping. It's gonna have pepperoni, mushroom, and sausage. Well, that's awesome. But the dough is gonna be like it's not gonna be real pizza dough. It's gonna be like a large white flour tortilla pizza. And I'm like, that's not
Oh,
really the
that's
thing
not
I was
right.
thinking.
That's not right. What are you doing?
Yeah, I mean, like, okay,
Uh,
like doing that shit with your kids, like one of those little like white flour, one of those little mini pizzas. Those are fine if you're doing like a very little sauce, little bit of cheese, and like one topping, like pepperoni. Like for little kids, that's actually a really nice little kind of like if you want to do like a quick sort of pizza night. But like for real, for like adults, it's like no, dude, like don't be switching stuff out. Don't be changing up the core ingredients.
yeah, yeah.
Give me the same toppings, but change up the core ingredients.
And there's obviously, a lot of the skeletons in Blizzard's closet, and then you got Diablos and Mortals, which led put a bad taste in people's mouths, and people are kind of worried that uh, they might use some of the same elements that they use with Diablo Immortals, but creators came out and said, "No, we're not going to do that. The extra payment stuff's going to be focusing on cosmetics. This is going to be a full retail game." Um,
Yeah.
but they always say that, and then they end up pulling the old okey doke after when the game comes out. It's like,
Here's what I'm gonna say: if this game comes out next year, and they essentially get to how can I put this? They get to do what they want to do, and like Microsoft buys them, and a lot of the upper management of Activision and Blizzard get told to get the fuck out. You might see a lot of that stuff not come to pass because like Microsoft is going to have to spend even more money rehabilitating Activision Blizzard,
yeah,
which might not be, you know, might not be fun.
yeah, yeah. No, hopefully it turns out good. Hopefully it's not a steaming pile, steaming pile of trash. But you
A
know,
dog doo doo.
but who knows? But in other news, there is a big announcement at the Xbox Game Show. Persona.
Some Nintendo fans are mad as
they're
hell.
hurt. They're hurt.
Yeah.
Uh, you could play this game on a cheap laptop, but you know these games on cheap. But
It's got to be on
any
the Switch,
yeah,
which ironically is using a chipset that is from a really cheap laptop.
yeah.
But they don't want to do that. They want to play it on their cheap laptop.
I obviously prefer Persona 4 Golden is already on the PC.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, Persona 3 Portable, Persona 4 Golden, Persona 5 Royals, all come on the PC.
Yeah, I'm mad because the only reason I got a PS4 was for Persona 5 Royal.
Yeah.
And if I'd only held out, I could
Yeah.
have I could have got it on PC. But I'm gonna double dip and get it on PC cuz, I don't really turn on like the only reason right now I have a PS4 now is for like some of the Japanese style exclusives that are only on the PS4 and some of the uh, downloadable games, like old PS3 game, PS2 games. Like I got Rogue Galaxy on PS4. So, but that's it. So I'm gonna get Royal again on PC.
Yeah, it's cool that they were able to get these games on Game Pass.
Yeah,
Uh, I'll
but I'd
probably just
rather
end,
buy them because
yeah, I'll
Game
probably
Pass
just
you just
end,
rent.
yeah, I'll probably just end up buying them. But yeah, so
I don't
uh,
really. And it's as long as Persona games are, I don't think you would have access to the game that fucking long enough with game, especially you have a job and all that other shit. People don't have the time.
thing is the thing about the thing about get and like something like Game Pass would have been great when I was a kid. Like being able to have access to a large library of games for only a few months. Uh,
$15 a month, you
yeah,
get access to huge library games.
yeah, I could probably scrounge up $15 a month as a kid, but now I'm older and can afford a lot of this stuff. Uh, it's just kind of like I don't entirely need it. It's kind of nice that it's there in case it's something I want to play that I'm not really sure about that it's on Game Pass. It's
Hmm.
kind of nice to try something out, but you know, uh,
I
I,
understand.
yeah, I don't think it's ruining gaming like some people think. I don't.
What, Game Pass? No, I mean I don't think people really think that. What I think is that people will write that down in order to be um sensationalists.
Yeah,
Because it's a really good, Game Pass destroying gaming. No. No, you know what's destroying gaming? Companies grinding their employees into dust in order to get a game out every year. A game that should really have like a at the least a 3-4 year development cycle, and they're grinding people into dust to get it out in a year. That's
yeah,
destroying gaming. Uh, a lack of diversity in hiring people. People are like, we're gonna make a diverse game. Well, who's working on the game? Like 95% of the people working on this game are white men. That's hurting game. Because how the fuck, okay, you know, I'm a black man. Okay, I'm a young black man. I do not even though I may empathize with the struggles a woman may go through. I'm not a woman, so even though I might empathize and recognize a lot of those struggles, I don't know them because I'm a black man,
yeah,
right? As a black man, some random white guy isn't gonna know like the stuff, even though they might empathize or sympathize or even acknowledge what I might go through as a black man. They're not gonna know it from my point of view because they're not me.
yeah.
So you need diversity in hiring. I mean, there's a lot of issues that are destroying gaming: greed, a complete abuse of the workers making the games, the developers making the games, um, you know, people not having the time to put the polish on the products, um, you know, misspent resources. And when I say resources, I don't just mean money; I mean time. Um, but Game Pass, like that's target number one. That's the smoke. That's the real problem. Okay, yeah, all right.
Yeah. Another another interesting game. Um, and I'm not really into like simulation racers, but I just thought it was interesting what they were doing with the new Forza game, like with the has a dynamic weather system that changes how the game plays through various different temperature changes and weather changes. So your car might handle slightly differently on the track. If it's wet or if it's rainy or if or your car might handle differently if it's really hot. So, um, also, obviously they're pushing this. real time ray tracing stuff in game as well, not just during the replays. I guess because on um, Gran Turismo 7, there's ray tracing, but it's only during the replays. It's not during the actual gameplay.
Yeah,
So that's
because it would
interesting.
use too much resources and it would fuck up the performance. So, you
So,
know,
so yeah, but
I
yeah,
mean, I said
yeah,
this last week. I don't give a fuck about ray tracing. I just want 1080p 60 frames per second solid.
yeah.
If you guys can do that, I'm happy. But none of these consoles are doing that. So, I mean, it's like some guy going with a girl and he makes $25,000 a year and she makes like $20,000 a year, but he's talking about how one day he's gonna be a billionaire, but he has no plan to be a billionaire.
There's no point. Yeah.
He has no plan. He's just talking about it. That's basically, hey, we're doing ray tracing, but you can't even get 1080p 60 frames per second solid. Shut up. We're doing ray tracing, son. It's like,
Yeah, I mean,
call me when you can do 60 frames per second, 1080p solid. No dips. No, like I would rather have 1080. Hell, I'll even take 720. If you want to do 720p and have all of that anti-aliasing and FAA and SAA and all that stuff, and could have it locked at 60 frames, I would rather have that than 2K, 3K ray tracing, luminous rays, any of that shit. I just want HD 60. That's it. Like that's all I want. Like I don't think that's an unfair question. Do you?
yeah, I mean, I guess, they give you the option to pick and choose. Like, do you want high resolution? Do you want high performance? Do you want, you know, but at the same time, it's just kind of like, I don't know, they should just get everything you need out of the box. That's really how consoles, for the most part, used to be. It's like everything just worked the way it
All
needed
I'm
to
saying is
work.
this: I just want 60 frames per second, 1080p. Like they're like these consoles. Like we have performance mode, we have performance mode, and then we have like display mode where it looks great, but it's 30 frames per second. Or we can have it look a little less great, but it's 60 frames. I'm like, can't we just have like a basic HD 60? Like, why do we? Like,
No, I mean, that's because they haven't figured out a way to make a console like that that's not going to cost $800 for some reason. I don't know.
800 for 1080 60 solid, no dips. If someone said, if Microsoft or Sony or Nintendo said, we're charging you $799 because they don't want to say 800 because that penny is going to make the fucking difference. We will charge you $799, but this console is 1080p, 60 frames per second. If you hook it up to a 2K TV or a plasma or a LED TV that has higher than 1080p, the signal, the pixel rate will be up res to that level, but it will stay a solid 60 frames.
Yeah.
If I could get that, I don't need 120, I don't need 144, I don't need 30. Just give me 60 frames. That's it.
Yeah.
Like they keep on talking about all this other shit. We got this. We got luminous. We got God rays. We got ray tracing. Look, motherfucker, can you get 60 frames per second and shut the fuck up?
Oh, man.
You know, it's like you go into a car dealership and you're like, look, I just want an electric vehicle. Well, we got all these features. No, you're not hearing what I'm saying. I just want an electric vehicle. Okay? If it has a radio, good. But I don't need Sirius XM. I don't need a T cozy. I don't need a TV in the back. I don't need the wheels, the rims where you stop driving and the reels keep on spinning. I don't need any of that shit. I just want an electric vehicle. Like that's it. I'm tired of buying gas. That's all I'm asking.
Yeah.
And they can't do it. They will not do it. They keep on just,
Um, let's see. Did you watch anything from the Capcom show?
No, I did not.
Uh,
I thought you said Catcom. Capcom, yeah, I watched it. I thought it was pretty good.
yeah.
I know some people are gonna get mad when they hear that, but I thought the Capcom show was pretty good. I didn't give a shit about Monster Hunter because I don't really like. It's not that I don't like Monster Hunter. I know that I have an addictive personality, and I would probably like if I got into Monster Hunter, I would start becoming that addictive asshole yet again, and I didn't want to do that. So I don't play Monster Hunter. Not because it's not good, but because I don't want to be that guy.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, yeah, I looked at some few of the trailers. I guess the disappointing thing is the Resident Evil 4 trailer because they didn't really show a lot of gameplay. It just showed,
Yeah, but some.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I
I
figured
mean,
they
I'm
would
just
show more.
happy they're remaking one of their best Resident Evils,
Yeah.
and it seems like they're adding a lot of extra content to it. So, RE4 is already good. As long as I can play the game and get that infinite shot rocket launcher like you could in the original, where it's like before you're like, oh, I have to conserve my ammo, and I don't want to use too many bullets. The rocket launcher's like, oh, it's that guy who before would just run up and cut your head off. Rocket launcher, bitch. And as long
uh,
as they have the merchant who's like, what you buying? They bring him back. What are you buying? I'm buying whatever you're selling, merchant man. So yeah, as long as they keep the spirit of that game and they don't mess it up too bad, then it's gonna be good.
yeah.
I don't foresee it being a bad remake. As long as they don't pull a RE3 where they just fucked up royally by taking areas out of the game.
Yeah, I heard people were very disappointed with that game.
Yeah, they took two areas out of the game. I'm like I know y'all wanted to rush to get this out in a year, but for real, like y'all took entire areas out of this game. And you expected people to not say anything, which is hilarious to me.
Yeah.
Like they actually thought people weren't going to say anything. Oh, no one's going to notice. We're gamers. We notice everything.
Also, Resident Evil Village is getting DLC. I guess you play as the main character's daughter. Uh,
Yeah.
apparently, when did fantasy elements start making its way into Resident Evil? I always thought they were more science fiction.
Well, I don't think it's a fantastical. I think because remember in RE in Resident Evil Village in the game prior to Village, like you've been infected with that fungus. It's making your character go crazy. So it could be all hallucinations. It looks like it's fantasy, but it's just hallucinations.
Now, that's also a possibility because yeah, she's supposed to have this power, or whatever, and she goes to this different dimension. I was like, when did fantasy start? When they start adding fantasy elements to Resident Evil? Like,
Yeah, but if it's weird enough, remember, if you don't understand a technology, it looks like it's magic.
yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, that's a good point. Let's see what else. You also get to play as the uh
Lady D.
Lady D. You get to play as
You know,
her.
that's why people are getting this. They want to play as Lady D. Lady D, the only villain that can kill your character, and some dudes are gonna be like, "Oh, that's okay. She killed my character. That's all right. She can kill me anytime."
And I guess
How'd she
Philip.
kill your character? Well, she sat on my character's face, but he was okay with
Yeah.
it.
Also, getting a third person mode, which is kind of strange. Um, I guess, but
Man, they added that for the Lady D fanboys. Come
maybe.
on, man. We all
Yeah.
know. Look, Capcom knew what they were doing when they added Lady D.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're like, look, people gonna like this big tall bitch right here, and they did. So there you go.
Yeah. Yeah. Um. Let's see. Oh yeah, and obviously there's Monster Hunter expansion coming out. I think it's coming out in August.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
I mean, if you like Monster Hunter, it's great. If you don't like Monster Hunter, then you're like me. You're just like, cool, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, it should be alright. I ended up buying one of the Monster Hunter games. I haven't played it as much as I should. Uh I might try to get more into it so I can develop a better opinion about it.
You're gonna need a crew to go with you to help you level up because if you're going by yourself, Monster Hunter is a tough game to get into.
Um that's it. So you have to one of those games you have to have friends to play. Oh great.
Well, I mean, you don't have to have friends. It's just you're gonna have to spend a lot of time. Like, okay, if you start playing Monster Hunter over Christmas, right?
Yeah.
And you just like, let's say you got 2 weeks off, and you just play the ever loving shit out of it for those 2 weeks, then you'll probably like get your character up. Just play it like almost like it's a job or something. But who wants to play a game like it's a job? If you have friends, they can help you fight the tougher enemies and get better drops so that you can make better equipment so that you're up at that level at a point. But if you don't want to do that, do whatever you want. It's your game. You can do whatever you want.
Um so with all these festivities, there's no Nintendo Direct this week. There was no Nintendo Direct this week to follow up all the other stuff that's happening. Apparently, it's supposed to be happening. Allegedly, this is the rumor, but you we could all just be disappointed later. It's supposed to be happening sometime near the end of the month. Uh, and honestly, I don't know. I don't really care. I guess it's gonna happen when it happens. Like I'm just at the point when it comes to Nintendo Directs or just any of the stuff in general. And they'll announce whatever they need to announce it whenever they're going to announce it.
I'm about to say something that's going to make some people mad, but I don't really care. Um, there's very few things Nintendo could talk about in a direct that would make me really excited.
I'm kind of getting to that point too, actually.
Because basically anything they could announce. Now this could change once the direct happens. Because if they announce that they're coming out with Metroid Prime 4, I'm going to be mad because I'm like, why the fuck would you put Metroid Prime 4 on the Switch where you're going to have to strip out a lot of shit to get it to run properly?
Yeah.
Because that game really needs to be like fantastic and not running like shit. Um, if they're showing stuff like Kirby was a surprise when they had that direct. I'm like, oh, I wasn't expecting 3D Kirby.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where there's just not a lot of stuff that I'd be really excited for with Nintendo having a Switch, but I could be wrong. They could come out with some stuff where I'm like, this is amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, that's definitely a possibility. But,
I mean, considering how underwhelming Sony's thing was and the Summer Game Awards thing was, I mean, it's probably more than likely that they could just do some basic stuff and it would be surprising to me.
I think that's how people feel. It's, um, I don't know. I just can't get excited about these things as much as I used to. I don't know if it's just becoming older or is it just the fact that, I do have a lot of games to play, so I'm not always constantly looking for the next big new release. Uh,
Yeah, that's how I feel. Like
yeah.
I'm like, look, I have I have the PS. The only console, the only ninth gen console I don't have is a PlayStation 5, and that's because every time I try to go get one, it's sold out. Like
Yeah,
it's not. I don't have money. It's just it's sold out everywhere.
yeah,
Um, and part of that is because of the parts thing. Because I'm pretty sure if Sony could afford to get their hands on
yeah. If they
the
could pay,
parts.
if they could pay for priority, they certainly would.
Yeah, or if they were willing, they probably could do it, but they're not willing to spend the extra money to do it. So Sony has money; they just don't have that type of money. But
Yeah,
that's my opinion. I think that I like Sony, but um, I mean, I'm not in love with Sony. I think that they could be a lot better than what they are. I think a lot of their games are kind of underrated. I mean,
yeah,
are overrated. Sorry, I think they're a lot. I think a lot of Sony's games are overrated. I think their
yeah,
console is overrated. The only reason I want a PS5 really is because a lot of their games were PS5 exclusive, but now that a lot of their shit's coming to the PC, it's like, well, shit, I don't need to own this. I don't really need to own a PS5.
yeah, yeah. Exactly, exactly. Now, is there anything that stood out to you at the PC show? You know, for the
Scorn, the mod for Half Life Alex, fan made mod, kind of
yeah,
cool. I mean, like a lot of the shit that was on the Xbox thing, like a lot of those games are also coming. Like, there's a lot of cross pollination. There's nothing. This is why you kind of do need one unified show so that
yeah,
people don't keep on showing the same thing over and over and over again.
yeah,
Um, like, that's kind of the problem where everyone's doing their own thing. There's no central organization. Even Jeff Keighley's bullshit ass Summer Games show has a lot of like, oh, this is the same shit someone else showed. Um, So I would say it's probably like I enjoy a lot of the stuff that came up on the PC game show. Like I said, Scorn, which looks like a like Metroid Prime mixed with Alien 2.
yeah,
Space Marine 2, which I mean they kind of left the first Space Marine on a cliffhanger. So they brought that back. There's a game that's coming out called Agent 64, which is very much reminiscent of GoldenEye, but like with a higher frame rate.
oh, interesting.
Yeah, like imagine an idealized. It's an idealized GoldenEye, basically,
Yeah,
and it looks amazing. It also has a campaign maker where you can make your own campaign. So if you were like, you know what, I think I could do a better GoldenEye level. Well, here you go. And I know someone's gonna remake GoldenEye in this engine, and it's gonna be fucking amazing.
yeah,
It's called Agent 64 Spies Never Die, but you know what they're inspired by.
oh yeah, yeah. Just by looking at the first few frames, you could definitely tell it's they were heavily
And it's got
inspired
a
by
demo on
GoldenEye.
Steam, so, I'm losing my mind. I like shit like this. But that's it. There. I mean, I would say that right now I was more excited about the PC game show than Sony or Microsoft shows or the summer of whatever.
Summer Game Show, yeah. There's this interesting game called Invincible that looked interesting. Yeah, it looked like a first person adventure game. You're exploring this planet, I think, either a planet or a abandoned area, and I think it's called Invincible. Maybe not. No, what's it?
The Invincible.
Invincible.
It's called The Invincible.
The Invincible. Yeah, yeah. can't find it.
Yeah, but overall, I think the PC gaming show was more interesting to me, and it's not because I play a lot of games on PC. It's just that um, it had a lot of variety. Like, not everything in the PC gaming show was some dude bro shit.
Yeah.
Because I'm so tired of dude bro shit in gaming.
Yeah.
Dude, brah. Dude bro shit. Dude, brah. Dude, brah.
Well, is there anything else you'd like to bring up before we
Wrap it up.
wrap it up?
No, that's it.
That's it.
That's it. I got nothing else. I just gonna pimp some stuff out, deliver some news, and then call it a day.
All right.
So I've had a change of schedule. Some business stuff went through, so it's good news for me. But my schedule has changed dramatically. So with that being said, I probably will no longer be having a cast on Saturdays, but Wednesday is cool. If you're still having your cast on Tuesdays, I'll be able to join.
Okay.
So,
yeah, sounds good.
there you go.
Sounds good to me. And
Anyway, so yeah, continue to have the podcast on Wednesdays, but Saturdays that's gone away. Because by the time I get home, it's gonna be like 12 in the morning. So not really gonna be able to do much of that point. No one's gonna want to cast at 12 in the morning.
no.
So anyway, that's the end of the cast. Rate, comment, share, subscribe, all that shit.
All right. Well, this is Kadoshi and Amanita here with Project Console. This is a feature, and we'll see you next week.